Imagine waking up in the middle of the Sahara Desert, alone. Your caravan gone, your supplies vanished, and the only thing left behind, strange symbols carved into the sand, as if someone or something had marked your fate. This is the story of Zayd ibn Rahman, a 14th century trader who walked into the desert and was never seen again. But what really happened that night? The truth is more terrifying than you can imagine. Zayd ibn Rahman was no ordinary traveler. He was a seasoned trader leading a caravan of silk and spices across the Sahara, heading toward the grand markets of Marrakesh. But as the sun began to set, an old Bedouin warned him, "Stay on the marked path. The sands do not forgive those who wander." Zayd laughed it off. He had crossed the desert a dozen times before. What could possibly go wrong? That night, the desert felt different. The stars above, usually bright, were hidden behind a thick mist. The air was heavy, filled with whispers carried by the wind. And then, the camels refused to move. A young scout was sent ahead. He walked just a few steps, and then screamed. When they reached him, his body was frozen, his eyes wide with terror. He pointed ahead at something half buried in the sand. It was a warning, a relic of a lost civilization, and a sign that they had wandered where no man should. But Zayd, determined to press forward, ignored it. That was his first mistake. When the sun rose, Zayd woke up to horror. The caravan was gone. The camels, the men, the goods, everything had vanished. Only endless dunes surrounded him. And in the sand where his companions had slept were deep, unnatural handprints, leading away into the desert. Panic set in. He called out, his voice swallowed by the emptiness. He followed the tracks, but they led to nowhere. The desert had erased his path. And then he saw them, shadows, moving in the distance just beyond his reach, watching, waiting, dehydration or something else. As the hours dragged on, the sun mercilessly beating down, Zayd started hearing voices, whispers, calling his name. He turned, nothing, just shifting sands. Then he saw them, figures in the distance, his caravan. Running toward them, he screamed in relief, only to watch them vanish before his eyes, dissolving like smoke. Was his mind breaking, or had something far worse claimed his people? Hope flickered, shelter, maybe even water. But as he entered the crumbling structure, the air grew colder. The walls, covered in the same symbols from the stone pillar, spoke of a lost civilization that angered the desert gods. A mistake had been made. The caravan had trespassed where they should not have, and now the desert was taking its due. The desert was alive, watching, waiting. Zayd ran, stumbling through the sinking sand. A hand, cold, skeletal, grasped his ankle. He kicked, screamed, but no one was there. Just the laughter. A voice, ancient, powerful, spoke a single word. Then, silence. Centuries later, in the present day, explorers found something beneath the dunes. A journal, a single page buried with time. The last words of Zayd ibn Rahman. The desert does not forget. Some say his spirit still roams the sands, searching for his lost caravan. Others believe he was never truly human again. But one thing is certain. Sahara keeps its secrets, and some roads should never be traveled. What do you think really happened to Zayd? Was it a supernatural curse, or something science has yet to explain? Let us know in the comments below. And if you love true mystery and survival stories, don't forget to subscribe. There are more stories waiting just beyond the dunes.